Hey, my friend, let me ask you something. Did you know that not so long ago, we were not the only humans walking this planet? 50,000 years ago, the Earth was home to several human species. There were the powerful Neanderthals, the mysterious Denisovans, the ancient Homo Erectus, and of course, us, Homo Sapiens. Today, only we remain. The others vanished. But why? What happened to these other human species? Were they wiped out by violence? Did they starve as the climate shifted? Or were they absorbed into our bloodline, living on inside us even now? This mystery isn't just about the past. It's about who we are today. Because by understanding why we survived and why the others did not, we uncover the very story of what it means to be human. So in this video, we'll journey back through time. We'll explore the rise and fall of these lost species, the world they lived in, and the brutal challenges they faced. And maybe, by the end, you'll see your own place in history a little differently. Get ready, because this is not just a story about survival. It's the story of how we became the last humans left on Earth. Neanderthals. Our closest relatives, and for a long time, the dominant humans of Ice Age Europe. They were shorter than us, but far stronger. Thick bones, powerful muscles, broad chests. A Neanderthal man could probably overpower a modern weightlifter without breaking a sweat. Their skulls were larger than ours too, which means their brains were at least as big, maybe even bigger. For hundreds of thousands of years, Neanderthals hunted massive Ice Age animals, bison, mammoths, woolly rhinoceroses. They built shelters, crafted stone tools, and even created art. In some caves, archaeologists have found jewelry made from animal teeth and feathers, evidence that Neanderthals cared about beauty, not just survival. But perhaps most surprising, they buried their dead. Carefully placed bodies, sometimes with flowers or tools beside them. This shows that Neanderthals had a sense of ritual, maybe even belief in an afterlife. So why did such strong, intelligent humans disappear? One theory is climate. When the Ice Age shifted rapidly, many of the animals Neanderthals relied on died out. Another is competition. When Homo Sapiens arrived in Europe, we may have outnumbered and outlasted them. Some scientists also believe we carried diseases they had no immunity to. Yet Neanderthals didn't vanish completely. Modern DNA studies show that anyone with European or Asian ancestry still carries 1 to 2% Neanderthal DNA. In a way, they live on inside us. The Neanderthals were not a failed experiment. They were human, and they remind us that survival isn't always about strength. It's about adaptability. If Neanderthals were the strong cousins, then the Denisovans are the mysterious shadows of our family tree. Unlike Neanderthals, we don't have complete Denisovan skeletons. In fact, almost everything we know about them comes from just a few fragments: a finger bone, a tooth, a jaw found high in the Tibetan plateau. Yet from those tiny pieces, an entire lost species has emerged. Genetic studies reveal that Denisovans were a distinct branch of humanity, separate from both Neanderthals and Homo sapiens. They roamed across vast regions of Asia, from Siberia to Southeast Asia, adapting to environments that would have killed most others. Some of them even lived at high altitudes, where the air was thin and oxygen scarce. And here's the astonishing part. Denisovans didn't just survive, they thrived. When scientists analyzed the DNA of modern populations, they found Denisovan genes in people from places like Papua New Guinea, the Philippines, and Tibet. In fact, the genetic adaptation that allows Tibetans to breathe easily at high altitudes today comes directly from Denisovan ancestors. So, while their bones are rare, their legacy lives on in millions of people walking the earth right now. But the mystery remains. Why did the Denisovans disappear as a distinct group? Did they merge with humans through interbreeding? Were they overwhelmed by changing climates? Or did other human species simply outcompete them? The Denisovans remind us that history isn't always written in stones and bones. Sometimes it's written in our blood. Long before Neanderthals or Denisovans, there was Homo erectus, the upright man. They appeared nearly 2 million years ago, making them one of the longest living human species in history. Homo erectus was the first human to truly step out of Africa and spread across the world. From Indonesia to China, from the Middle East to Europe, they walked farther than any species before them. They were pioneers, explorers, and survivors on a global scale. What made them so successful? Fire. Evidence shows that Homo erectus may have been the first to control flames. Imagine the power of that discovery. Warmth in freezing nights, protection from predators, and the ability to cook food, unlocking more nutrition from meat. Fire wasn't just survival, it was civilization's spark. Homo erectus also shaped stone tools, simple yet effective hand axes that became the Swiss Army knives of prehistory. With these, they could cut, dig, hunt, and build. And though their brains were smaller than ours, their adaptability was unmatched. They endured multiple climate shifts over hundreds of thousands of years. Yet, after such a long reign, Homo erectus eventually disappeared. Climate change, competition from newer humans, and perhaps a lack of innovation sealed their fate. Unlike us, they never advanced their tools beyond the basics. Still, their legacy is profound. Homo erectus lit the first fires, blazed the first trails out of Africa, and showed the world that humans were meant to roam. Without them, our own story might never have begun. Around 200,000 years ago, in Africa, a new species emerged. Homo sapiens, us. At first, we were just one branch of a much larger human family. But somehow, against all odds, we became the last ones standing. So why did we survive while Neanderthals, Denisovans, and Homo erectus disappeared? The answer may lie not in our bodies, but in our minds. Homo sapiens developed complex language, not just sounds, but true speech. With language, we could share knowledge, plan hunts, and pass ideas across generations. Knowledge didn't die with the individual. It lived on in the group. We also mastered art and symbols. Cave paintings, carvings, and beads weren't just decorations. They were proof of imagination, abstract thinking, and shared identity. These gave us unity, culture, and a sense of belonging that went beyond survival. And then there was cooperation. While Neanderthals may have lived in small, isolated groups, Homo sapiens formed wide networks. Tribes traded tools, resources, and even ideas. This web of connections made us more resilient against famine, predators, and climate shifts. Finally, adaptability was our greatest strength. From deserts to frozen tundras, we shaped clothing, shelters, and strategies to thrive almost anywhere. We didn't just endure change, we embraced it. In the end, Homo sapiens didn't win because we were stronger or faster. We won because we could imagine, create, and work together on a scale no other human species ever achieved. That is why, today, only one branch of humanity remains, and it's us. As the last ice age tightened its grip on the Earth, the fate of humanity's many branches became clear. Vast glaciers spread across continents, herds of giant animals dwindled, and survival became a daily war against the cold. For the Neanderthals, this was devastating. They had evolved for Ice Age Europe, but when climates shifted rapidly, their hunting grounds shrank. Without wide networks or trading partners, many of their groups were simply cut off and starved. The Denisovans, scattered across Asia, slowly blended into our own bloodlines through interbreeding, leaving only traces in our DNA. As a people, they faded into mystery. And the great Homo Erectus, after nearly 2 million years of endurance, finally disappeared. They had survived so long, but when new species arrived with more advanced tools and strategies, they could not keep pace. Only Homo Sapiens adapted quickly enough. We learned to build better shelters, sew warmer clothes, and hunt with complex weapons. We formed alliances and shared knowledge across tribes. Where others broke, we bent and survived. But extinction doesn't mean erasure. Even today, their legacy lives inside us. If you are of European or Asian ancestry, you carry fragments of Neanderthal genes. If you are from Tibet or Oceania, you may carry Denisovan traits. These lost humans are still a part of who we are. The last ice age did not just end species. It sculpted us, tested us, and forced us to become more than just survivors. It made us the last humans left on Earth. Today, when you look around, every human you see belongs to a single species, Homo sapiens. But not long ago, we shared this planet with others: Neanderthals, Denisovans, Homo erectus, and more. They were not mistakes of evolution. They were explorers, survivors, artists, hunters, dreamers. Each left their mark on the world, and though their voices are silent, their legacy lives within us, in our DNA, in the stories written in bones, and in the echoes of caves where their fires once burned. So what happened to the other human species? Some vanished in the cold. Some were absorbed into us. Some were simply outcompeted. But together, they all shaped the destiny of the last humans left, you and me. When we tell their story, we're not just talking about the past. We're honoring the family we lost and remembering that survival was never guaranteed. We are here today because our ancestors adapted, cooperated, and dared to imagine. And maybe that's the true lesson. Humanity doesn't endure because of strength alone. We endure because of unity, creativity, and the ability to learn from those who came before. So, my friends, thank you for joining me on this journey into the deep past. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these lost humans fascinates you the most? And what mystery of ancient history should we explore in the next video? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe for more epic journeys into our shared human past.